evening. How are you guys? Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, quite possibly, depending on where you are when you see this video. Welcome to another episode of Kenneth Business English. Today we'll be focusing on business phrasal verbs, business-related phrasal verbs, I should say. As you know, guys, this channel is all about business, or I should say business English, every aspect of it for intermediate and advanced learners and pretty much anyone else who's interested in business topics. So today we're going to be focusing on 11 business-related phrasal verbs. I thought what I would do is I would begin. In this series, we're going to focus on one verb each class and a number of prepositions that verb can go along with in order to form a phrasal verb. So, for example, here we have get across, right? And you'll notice that there is a pattern that all of these phrasal verbs begin with get. But before we begin, please, if you get a chance, click on that like button. It helps with the algorithm. Also subscribe if you'd like to get some, before long, exclusive information at present. As I just started, I don't have that yet, but we will get that to you, if you guys can support this channel. So without any further ado, let us begin. Get across, that's our first phrasal verb today. Get across conveys the idea of getting your point to be understood by someone else. So a good math teacher can get any idea across to his or her students by way of using, simple language, or maybe very poignant examples, right? To get across. So I need to get my idea across to my students. Yeah, and in many cases, the phrasal verbs won't necessarily be combined together. They can be spread apart, right? Get ahead. Get ahead suggests, or means rather, that you are progressing, right? Whatever that might be in, you are progressing. You're getting ahead. You are moving forward in your evolution, if you will, with regard to some subject matter. So, or area, I should say. In order to get ahead in business, you have to watch episodes of Kenneth Business English on YouTube. Quite possibly, among other things, maybe. Get away. Well, you might be thinking, well, get away with something. Yeah, that's true. But in the business context, get away would mean, could be used in the following context. I'm so busy, Bob, I'd love to help you, but I can't get away from my desk right now. I'm really focusing on, getting this deliverable to my boss. So, my apologies. So I can't get away. Also, somebody calls from home. You know what? Dinner's here. Getting cold. I can't get away from my desk, right? So please put it in the microwave, and I'll be there this evening, and I'll eat, hopefully, right? Hopefully before 10 p.m. Next. So the next one is get around. Get around in the business context, or in a business context, I should say, might refer to, if there is an obstacle, finding a way to circumvent, said obstacle. So, there are, bureaucratic obstacles, or certain individuals at work, they are almost by definition roadblocks. Well, how do we get around that person? How do we get around that bureaucratic issue in order to get the job done, right? Good. Next, we have get away from. You're thinking, well, we just did get away. Phrasal verbs are very interesting. They can be 2 or 3 or sometimes more combined verbs and prepositions. So here we have get away from, which is slightly different than get away. Get away from might be if, for example, I'm giving a speech on a particular topic, and I kind of, I deviate away from the subject matter or from, my focal point. And at some point, I might realize this is happening, and I might say, well, I'm getting away from my original discussion, or I'm getting away from my original objective or point, if you will. Let me get back to what I was talking about. And get back to, well, you just saw that, or you just heard that rather. Get back to what I was talking about. I had mentioned, so I'm getting away from the topic at hand. Let me get back to what I was talking about earlier. Good. Get down to. This is one of my favorite phrasal verbs. Oftentimes when we start a meeting, at least in the U.S. context, we start out by maybe asking people like how they're doing, how's the family. We love to talk about weather and traffic and things of that nature. But at some point, somebody might say, okay, well, let's get down to business. It's like, just let's start focusing, right, on what we intended on focusing on, right? Let's just, essentially refocus our attention on the objective at hand. Good. Get along with. This is yet another phrasal verb that I like. Get along with simply means being able to deal with someone, maybe a colleague at work, or even an acquaintance outside of work, or just anybody, right? A perfect stranger. So to get along with simply means to, be able to deal with in a cordial manner, right? Without any type of tense dynamic, right? So to get along with. In order to be successful in business, you really should find a way to get along with everybody. Good. Next, we have get over, right? Sometimes you fail in business, right? It happens. It happens to the best of us. Any motivational speaker will say, successful people, what lays the groundwork for success is failure. I'm not suggesting we should go out looking for it, but if we mess up, we should get over it, right? We shouldn't cry over spilt milk, but that's an idiom. We'll get into business idioms before long. Get over. Just overcome that issue that you might have. Good. And the next one is get rid of. Let's say you're working on a PowerPoint presentation and your boss kind of swings by, and you can see his neck stretched out looking. You might say, I don't know about that. Can you kind of get rid of that sentence or that graphic or whatnot? To get rid of, therefore, simply means to remove. It's also used in the context of, unfortunately, kind of severing ties between an employer and an employee, or just an employee with the organization, I should say. So, for example, if I need to get rid of somebody, That means I'm not particularly happy with his or her performance, and therefore we need to perhaps sever ties. I fortunately have never had to do that, and hopefully I never will. And get through. Well, you guys might be thinking, oh my God, how did I get through this? I hope not, however. I hope that, in fact, you enjoyed this class. Yeah, so get through is simply means to be able to endure, but in a good sense, right? To sustain one's, I guess, forward movement, if you will, to be able to complete something, right? Regardless of what impediment might be in our way, we nevertheless manage to get through it, right? Guys, perhaps you've noticed I've covered 11 phrasal verbs. Why? Is it because I have to be a contrarian and deviate from the norm, which is that we always review 10 things? That's a nice round number. Well, perhaps all of the above. But I hope you enjoyed these phrasal verbs, and I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow for another episode of Kenneth Business English. Take care, guys. By the way, almost forgot. Please, if you haven't, click on the like button, subscribe. Also, you can find me on italki.com under the handle Kenneth Business. One word. Take care, guys. Be safe.